morning, students. We have already started the lesson how to organisms reproduce, and in that lesson, in the starting of this lesson, we have learned why do organisms reproduce and what is the importance of reproduction. Then we have learned what is the basic unit of what is the basic event that takes place in reproduction, and there we have learned that the basic event in the process of reproduction is what? It is the DNA copying. And then as we have proceeded in the chapter, we have learned how the process of DNA copying takes place and how certain faulty reaction leads to a altered body design, and the altered body design, the altered formation of protein leads to altered body design. Then we have seen that whenever a cell divides to form new cell, then the DNA is first copied, so that one copy goes in one cell and another copy goes in another cell. And along with copying of DNA, two copies of different cellular apparatus are also formed. For example, more mitochondria will be formed, more this chloroplast will be formed. Why? To send half of the copy of cell organisms into one, and to send the remaining cell organisms in the next one. And then we have seen that whenever there is slight or minute change during the DNA copy, then it leads to a change body design, which is the source for variation. And variation plays a very important role in the process of evolution, because when all the variations are combined together, then after many generations, it may happen that due to the additive effect of variation, a new organism may be found which is very different from the older one. And because the new organism is not able to reproduce with the older one, hence we can call the new organism as that a new species is evolved. So variation certainly has a very much importance, very important role in the process of evolution. And because of variation, we could see different type of changes, different types of characters in different type of organisms. If variation had not taken place, then all the organisms would similar. And we have learned one more thing, that two organisms cannot be 100% similar. There may be very small change which cannot be noticed, but a carbon copy is not formed. But we can say that the two organisms are similar, but they are not identical, even in the asexual reproduction. Then we switch over to asexual and sexual reproduction, and if we compare the amount of variation in sexual and asexual reproduction, then we have seen that amount of variation in asexually reproducing organism is very less as compared to sexually reproducing organism, because for sexual reproduction there is the need of two parents, and for asexual reproduction only a single parent is enough. So variation comes from a single parent only, therefore less amount of variation will be in a asexually reproducing organism, in the new one of the asexually reproducing organism. And whereas the genes and the DNA come from two different parents in a sexual reproduction, therefore the chances of faulty biochemical reaction increases, and therefore the chances of variation increase. So this was all about the previous classes that we have learned. And if we recall our just the last class, there we have started with asexual reproduction. We have already learned the differences between sexual and asexual reproduction, and we have seen how mitosis and meiosis play an important role in cell division. So when we have started asexual mode of reproduction, there we have learned that it's a mode of reproduction in which a single organism is able to produce a new one. Okay, so the new one which is formed has most of the characters is almost similar to the parent. Okay, because a single parent is involved. And if we look to the different modes of asexual reproduction, then we can see that the different modes of asexual reproduction. The first one is fission, and under fission we have already learned about binary fission. That what is fission? Fission is the asexual mode of reproduction a single in which the organisms divide or a cell. If the organism is unicellular, then simply the organism divides into or splits into two organisms. So it will be binary fission. For example, binary fission takes place in some bacteria. Unicellular bacteria, it takes place in unicellular protozoa. For example, amoeba, it takes place in paramecium. And then we have learned that binary fission also takes place in Listeria, which is the causal organism for Kala Azar disease. So up to this we have already done in our previous class. Okay, now students, the next topic, we were discussing the different modes of asexual reproduction. So first is fission, which is done by two methods. Binary, it can be either it can be binary fission or it can be multiple fission. Then fragmentation, then regeneration, budding, and the last one is spore formation. So I will try to finish all the modes of asexual reproduction in the class. Suppose we don't, we are unable to finish, then we'll take some of the asexual modes of reproduction in our next class. So I will start with the fission. Under fission, we have already done with binary fission. So today we will discuss about multiple fission. Okay. Now, what do you mean by multiple? Multiple means more than one. Okay. So in this type, this is the mode of reproduction in which any organism divides into many organisms, or a single organism forms many new ones, new daughter cells, and therefore the division will be the multiple fission. Let us take an example. For example, there is an organism which is known as Plasmodium. And if you recall Plasmodium, then Plasmodium is a type of protozoa which is responsible for a disease which is known as malaria. And this malarial, actually, the carrier for malaria disease is female Anopheles mosquito. But the infective agent is what? It's a protozoa and it is the Plasmodium. So if you look at the structure of Plasmodium, then what happens? The Plasmodium, the parent Plasmodium. First, what happens? Suppose this is a single nucleus inside the whole organism. Now, the nucleus will be bounded by cytoplasm and it's a single cell. Now, what happens? This single cell divides multiple times by the process of mitosis. And what is mitosis? Mitosis is a type of cell division in which the chromosome number remains the same. So, this is here only. Now, we'll see that this single cell, it divides first into two, then both of them will divide again, and it continues multiple times. And all the new ones, whatever the new ones which are formed, they will be kept enclosed by a thick coating. Okay, and this coating is known as the cyst. Okay, so what happens? One cell divides one cell will divide into two cells. It will again, both of them will again divide, and the division continues for many times, and all the new ones will be held together within a protective membrane, okay, protective wall, which protects the water plasmodium cells. Okay. So in this, the whole okay, so what we have seen that a single cell in a plasmodium, which for the plasmodium it will go to its side and it will divide and re-divide many times to fill that entire space and that whole space means the new daughter cells which are formed, they will be enclosed in a protective wall, and the protective wall is what? Cyst. Okay. Now, whenever it is unfavorable condition, the cyst will persist. But during the whenever the favorable condition arises, then what happens? The cyst, it will start to break. Okay. So when this cyst breaks, then what happens? Due to the breaking of the cyst, what happens? The new one. Okay. So once the cyst breaks, the new one will be released in the atmosphere. Okay, now you can see, and this will, each of the individual cell will, or each of the individual daughter cell will go to form a new plasmodium. Okay. Now this, since the single organism has divided, the cell has divided many times, therefore this type of fission is known as multiple fission. Okay. And here the whole organism don't divide, means what we have seen in the binary fission. In binary fission, we have seen that amoeba is able to produce two daughter cells at a time. Okay, but what we have seen in plasmodium we have seen that one plasmodium cell, it will divide into many plasmodium cells by mitotic cell division, because it takes place multiple times. Okay. So therefore, new plasmodium cells will be formed, and these new plasmodium cells, when the favorable condition arises, the new plasmodium cells will be released in the environment, and now they are ready to develop and to cause the infection further. So this was multiplication in plasmodium. Okay, and what is plasmodium? It is the infective agent, or the protozoa which is responsible for carrying which disease, for carrying malaria. The next one is fragmentation. Fragment means break it. Okay. So if I take a chalk and if I simply break it, then the small pieces which are formed is known as the fragment. For example, here I have a piece of chalk. Okay. So this is chalk. So we can consider it as a filament of spirogyra. What is spirogyra? Spirogyra is an algae. Okay. It's a green algae. Now, whenever fragmentation is the mode of reproduction, so whenever the spirogyra algae is prepared to divide, then what happens? It grows in its full size. The filament of algae will grow in its full size, and will accumulate more amount of cytoplasm and starch and the other energy requirement, because reproduction needs energy. So all the necessary things which are needed for reproduction, the spirogyra filament will accumulate, and the spirogyra filament increases to its full size. Now as it approaches reproduction, when there is the time for reproduction, since this spirogyra filament, since it is mature, now it will split. Okay, it will split into many small pieces, and each of the small pieces will be known as what? Each of the small pieces is known as a single fragment. Okay. Now what happens? This single fragment will grow, will form new cell, and ultimately it will form number of cells, because this fragmentation, because the spirogyra is an example of multicellular organism. Okay, the algae is multicellular, it is made up of many cells, and all the cells are present in all the cells are lined one after another in the form of a filament, right? Okay, so it's a filamentous algae and it's a multicellular organism, and when it approaches reproduction, when it is mature, the filament will be breaks into small fragments, and each fragment develops, it forms new cell, and ultimately a new whole filament will be formed. So let us see the structure of spirogyra. Okay, students, so we can consider this as the filament of which filament of an algae, which is known as the spirogyra. Okay, now this is and what is the peculiar property about spirogyra? That's how can you identify spirogyra? Spirogyra is easily visible under microscope and it can be easily identified because it has a ribbon-shaped chloroplast. Okay, or it has a spiral chloroplast. So here the chloroplast is somewhat like this. Okay, so this is what? This is the chloroplast which is present in the spirogyra. Now you can see the entire filament of spirogyra. Now what happens? The spirogyra filament, it will just break into pieces when it is mature. Okay, so let us break it from here. Okay. Now we have seen that we have broken the algae, but how it breaks? It breaks on maturity. Okay. So now you can see that I have divided the filament into three parts, but it is upon maturation, it can divide into n number of fragments. Many fragments can be made. Okay, so I have made three different fragments. Now, what will happen? Each of them will individually form new cell to form a new organ. Okay, a new filament. Okay, so this is what you will see here. Here it was like this. Okay, now it will develop into a new one. This way, this is this. Okay, and now this one will again form the new filament, and the third one, which was already like this, it will form the new filament. So this is the third one. It already had here, the filament here, and this filament was cut. Okay, from here now it will form certain new cell. Okay, and certain new filamentous, three new filamentous algae will be formed. This was the middle cell came here. It will start forming the side cells. Okay, and in this way the filamentous algae will be formed. And the third one, it has the last cell in it, so it will start producing cells here. And in this way, now in this way, we have seen that a single spirogyra has made new spirogyra daughter filament by simply breaking on becoming mature. Okay, so from a single filament of spirogyra, now three additional filamentous algae are formed. So this is a mode of reproduction involved in spirogyra. Now, students, the fission and fragmentation. They are considered in asexual mode of reproduction. Both of them are considered as the simple way of reproduction. Okay. Now we'll come to certain organisms like planaria, which is an example of a multicellular organism, and in which the reproduction takes place with the help of certain special cells. Okay, so why planaria is very, what is planaria? Planaria is a flat one. Okay, so what is planaria? It is a flat one. Okay, and this flat one, why it is very special? Because it has a special mode of asexual reproduction, which is known as regeneration. What is regeneration? Regeneration it means to form new body parts from the lost body parts. Okay, means if the whole organism has split it into many pieces, then the original piece which is present, which is from the parent, it has the capability to form the lost body. Okay, so in regeneration, one example of regeneration is the regeneration in area. There can be regeneration in lizard. आपने lizard घर में देखी होगी क्योंकि जो tail है वो cut हो जाती है और after some time if you see after 15 to 20 days you will see a new tail is arising, is being formed in the lizard. Okay, so lizard में भी regeneration का example है, but यहाँ पे एक difference है कि प्लेनेरिया में जो रीजनरेशन होता है वो पूरी बॉडी का हो सकता है, बट रीजनरेशन इज लिमिटेड टू सर्टेन एरियाज इन लिजार्ड एंड दैट इज टेल। लिजार्ड में अगर उसका लेग कट जाता है या उसकी बॉडी कट जाती है तो पूरी लिजार्ड नहीं बनती है। तो रीजनरेशन की जो सेल है, जो स्पेशलाइज्ड सेल्स है, वेयर दे आर present, they are present only in the tail. The tail can be formed again. Okay. Similarly, in regeneration, we have example, very beautiful example of starfish. Okay. Starfish में क्या है, इसके लिए कहानी है starfish की कि एक बीच था जहाँ पे बहुत सारे starfish जब वो टाइड्स आती हैं, जब टाइड्स वापस जाती है तो बहुत सारे starfish रह जाती थी बीच के किनारे पे, सी शोर पे। सो वहाँ के लोग बहुत सारे दुखी हो गए कि कितनी सारी स्टारफिश आ रही थी। तो ये क्या करते थे कि इन्होंने क्या सोचा, जो वहाँ के लोकल लोग थे उन्होंने सोचा कि बहुत सारी स्टारफिश आ रही है तो ऐसा करते हैं कि इनको इनको क्रश करके इनको हटा देते हैं, इनको डिस्ट्रॉय कर देते हैं, तो हम मतलब बहुत सारी जो स्टारफिश की पॉपुलेशन बढ़ रही है वो कम हो जाएगी। सो व्हाट द लोकल पीपल स्टार्टेड डूइंग, they simply crushed the starfish, they killed the starfish, and whatever starfish, the killed part, the dead parts of the starfish, they again threw it in the ocean water. तो अब इससे क्या होगा कि starfish, उनको ये नहीं पता था कि जो starfish has the amazing property of regeneration. तो जो भी starfish जितने parts में भी क्रश हो जाती थी, जब वो parts ocean water में जाते थे तो हर एक पार्ट अपना पूरा नया ऑर्गेनिज्म बना लेता था, सारे लॉस्ट बॉडी पार्ट्स उसके वापस आ जाते थे। और इस तरह से जब इन्होंने रिएक्ट करना शुरू किया, लोगों ने स्टारफिश को क्रश करके वापस मार के उसको किल करके वापस भेज देंगे तो वो उतनी और प्रोड्यूस होने लगी। फिर धीरे धीरे ये नॉलेज हुई, वहाँ के लोगों को ये पता चला कि एक्चुअली व्हाट इज दैट, क्या है कि जो स्टारफिश है दे हैव अमेजिंग प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ रीजनरेशन। आप उसको जितने पीसेस में कट करोगे उतने पीसेस में वो और नए इंडिविजुअल बन जाएंगे, क्योंकि वो उसका मेथड है रिप्रोडक्शन। ओके, सो सेम इज हियर इन द प्लेनेरिया। Planaria does the process of regeneration or the asexual reproduction in planaria takes place because of regeneration, because it has certain specialized cells. Okay, उसके पास कुछ specialized cells हैं बॉडी में जिसकी वजह से regeneration हो जाता है। अब ये स्पेशलाइज्ड सेल्स क्या करती हैं कि अगर हमने प्लेनेरिया को 2-3 पार्ट्स में स्प्लिट कर दिया, सो जो स्प्लिटेड पार्ट है उसमें अगर उसमें जो रीजनरेटिव सेल्स जो होंगे they have the capability to form tissue, then tissue have the capability to form organ, and in this way the development process takes place. Okay, and all the lost body parts may be recovered, may be formed in the planaria. Okay, अभी हमने रीजनरेशन में देखा था कि रीजनरेशन में सिंपली वो फिलामेंट है। ओके, एक सेल एक के बाद लाइन है तो वो नया सेल फॉर्मेशन केवल हो रही है यहाँ पे। ओके, कुछ सारे सेल्स मिलकर कुछ नया टिश्यू टाइप नहीं बना रहे, ओनली द सेलुलर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज देयर। बट हमने प्लेनेरिया में क्या देखा कि प्लेनेरिया इज अ मल्टी सेलुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म, वहाँ सेल भी बनता है और टिश्यू भी बनता है। ओके, तो ये किसके वजह से होता है, दैट इज बिकॉज ऑफ द स्पेशलाइज्ड सेल्स व्हिच आर प्रेजेंट, व्हिच हैव द रीजनरेटिव capacity. Okay, so let us see how regeneration takes place in planaria. What is planaria? It's a flat bone. Okay, now for regeneration in planaria, suppose this is the diagram of a planaria. Okay, so this is the diagram of a planaria. Now suppose it divides. Now how it divides? जैसे अभी हमने स्पाइरोगैरा में पढ़ा था कि स्पाइरोगैरा कब डिवाइड करेगा, तब फ्रैगमेंट बनाएगा जब वो मैच्योर बनेगा। लेकिन यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं है। सपोज बाय एन एक्सीडेंट द प्लेनेरिया, बाय अ प्रेडेटर और बाय एनी एक्सीडेंट or it has because of striking with any stone or with any tie, it has simply break into, means it has just cut into many pieces. तो सपोज करो कि ये जो है ये 3 पार्ट में कट हो गया। ओके, okay, now we have seen that planaria has cut into 3 parts by an accident. Okay, अब क्या होगा, now each of the planaria will go into new planaria। और आपको इसको बनाना कैसे, यहाँ पे आपको डायग्राम मैंने इसलिए नहीं बनाया कि आप डायग्राम बनाना सीखो। ओके, सो कैसे करेंगे, अब इसमें जो इसका अपर पार्ट है उसको तो आप डार्क पेन से बनाओगे, और जो इसका रीजनरेटिव पार्ट है उसको आप क्या करोगे, डैश 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 करके करोगे, जिससे ये पता चलेगा that the dash dash part is the regenerative part। okay, so in the first one, this one was the original। okay, ये original था, and now this will be formed। okay, and the last one में क्या था, last one में this was the original। okay, and this will be the regenerative। right, and the middle one को हम और आगे यहाँ ले लेते हैं। okay, तो middle one कैसा होगा, middle में only this piece was there। okay, so the regeneration takes place for the upper part also and for the lower part also। okay, so So now you can see the regeneration has taken place in all the three parts, and new body parts have made। Okay, so now these will join, ये join हो जाएंगे, और join करने के बाद ये जो है मतलब तीन प्लेनेरिया बन जाएंगे। अब आपको थर्ड डायग्राम में क्या करना है, you have to join this, आपको सबको उनको कंबाइन करके डार्क बनाना है। ठीक है, so ये ऐसे ऐसे और फिर आपको तीन बना देने हैं, ये वाला जो है और ये वाला। ठीक है, मींस आपको तीन जो है प्लेनेरिया बना देने हैं। ओके, so in this way three planaria will be made। so now you know the difference between a regeneration and a fragmentation। fragmentation normally takes place in lower group of organism which have simple body organization, whereas regeneration takes place in a higher group of organism which is multicellular also, and it has a tissue level organization, and where there is no need of specialized cell, but here in regeneration there is the need of specialized cell। okay, and here the fragmentation takes place only on a mature spirogyra filament, whereas regeneration takes place when the organism has accidentally divided into many pieces। each of the piece will have has certain specialized cells, and they have the regenerative property because of which they gave rise to new organisms। right, now we'll move further and we'll see how the next method of asexual reproduction takes place, and that is the budding। and budding, for budding we have an example, that is hydra। okay, student, what do you mean by hydra? My question is, what is hydra? Which type of animal or which type of plant it is? I want to know। okay, student, my question is, what is hydra? A simple question, what do you mean by hydra, or what is hydra? Students, I am waiting for your answer. Till I draw the diagram, just answer my question. What is hydra? Okay, students. So almost all of you have given a right answer. Hydra is the genus of small fresh water organisms of the phylum Nidaria and class Hydrozoa. And Hydra is the aquatic animal with an open circulation system. Yes, so just I want to know that Hydra is a plant or animal that you have given the right answer. Hydra is basically a water animal and it's a small animal and normally it exists in the ocean water. Okay, and don't confuse Hydra with Hydrilla. Hydrilla is actually a water plant. Okay, and what we are learning is Hydra, and Hydra is a water animal and it belongs to Nidaria. Nidaria, जिस ग्रुप में वो जेलीफिश होती है ना सेम ओके उसी ग्रुप से हाइड्रा भी बिलोंग करता है ओके एंड इट हैज ओपन सर्कुलेटरी सिस्टम ठीक नाउ this hydra let us see how budding takes place in hydra you can clap for yourself because almost everybody who has given the answers are right okay मतलब database आपका अच्छा strong है okay चलिए so now we'll learn about hydra. So this is hydra, and this the process of budding for asexual reproduction takes place in hydra when the hydra is again mature. ये मेरे जितने भी हमने अभी asexual method reproduction के पढ़े हैं, इसमें आपको एक चीज ध्यान रखनी है कि जो asexual method होता है reproduction का, ये किसमें होगा? When the body has grown to full size, when the organism is mature. ठीक है जब एक ऑर्गेनिज्म मैच्योर हो जाएगा जब उसमें कैपेसिटी आ जाएगी तो वो नया ऑर्गेनिज्म प्रोड्यूस करेगा तभी उसमें रिप्रोडक्शन होगा रीजनरेशन में हमने एक स्पेशल चीज देखी कि रीजनरेशन भी तो एक्सीडेंटली तो होता है कि वो टूट जाता है लेकिन वो अगर वो एक बेबी प्लेनेरिया जिसमें सारे बॉडी पार्ट बने ही नहीं है तो फिर उससे नया ऑर्गेनिज्म नहीं बनेगा जब एक प्लेनेरिया बन जाता है तो सारे बॉडी ऑर्गन्स आ जाएंगे अब अगर वो स्प्लिट होगा तो उससे नया ऑर्गेनिज्म प्रोड्यूस हो जाएगा ओके Now here the budding. Okay, so budding में as you can see the diagram, budding takes place in hydra. Budding also takes place in yeast. Yeast में भी होता है. Okay, so this is the example of hydra, and hydra is a water animal, and it looks somewhat like this. Okay, it is a flower vase. It has a flower vase structure. मतलब वो जो जिसमें आप फ्लावर्स को लगाते हैं वो जो आपका गमला होता है उस टाइप का या आपका फ्लावर पॉट है उस टाइप का इसका स्ट्रक्चर होता है ये बीच में इसकी ओपनिंग होती है फ्रॉम व्हिच द एयर कैन आल्सो गो इनसाइड द वाटर व्हिच इज containing the food also goes inside and these are the tentacles ये tentacles होते हैं इसके क्या करते हैं कि फूड को अपने कैप्चर करने में हेल्प करते हैं एक चीज आपको यहाँ पे देखना है कि जो हाइड्रा होता है ये सीडेंटरी होता है इट मींस दैट ये मूविंग नहीं होता है it has a sedentary life means it remains attached to the substratum and it remains here तो move नहीं करता दूसरे एनिमल्स की तरह ठीक है तो hydra remains here and by remaining here with the heterotentacles it takes its food so अब क्या होता है कि when it is mature a small bud like structure appears in the lower vast structure इस lower structure में कहीं पे भी छोटा सा bud आता है what is bud bud is nothing else but it is the collection of many cells okay it is a collection of many cells which have the capability of forming a new organism okay so a small bud arises near the base of the hydra and as the time proceeds slowly this bud grows and ultimately when the bud grows to its full size what will happen when the bud can have its individual existence now the bud will detach from here ये जो bud हो जाएगा ये bud है ये bud क्या करेगा ये यहाँ से detach हो जाएगा मतलब अपने parent से separate हो जाएगा okay so when the bud detaches from the parent hydra then wherever it falls there it attaches itself to the base or to the substrate मतलब जब ये यहाँ पे कट हो जाएगा तो जहाँ पे भी ये गिरेगा वहाँ पे ये अपने आप को बेस से अटैच कर लेगा substratum से अटैच कर लेगा and now this has the capability to grow further to develop further and to produce the new one so this is an example of how the process of budding takes place in hydra. And the last one we are left with is spore formation. spore formation takes place. It's the last method of asexual reproduction, which is given in your book, and it takes place in a fungus, and the name of the fungus is the Rhizopus, which is the common red mold fungus. Okay, children. So now we'll see how the process of asexual reproduction takes place. Okay. Now this is what this is the fifth method, and the name of this asexual mode of reproduction is known as spore formation. और स्पोर फॉर्मेशन किस में होता है? स्पोर फॉर्मेशन टेक्स प्लेस इन फंगस. फंगस में होता है एक बहुत सारे फंगस में होता है. एक एग्जांपल है जो कॉमन फंगस दैट ग्रोज ऑन ब्रेड, और उसका कॉमन नाम तो ब्रेड मोल्ड है, लेकिन उसका बायोलॉजिकल नेम क्या है? राइजोपस. ओके. ओके, अब आपने एक कॉमन चीज देखी होगी कि जब आप ब्रेड को लूजली ऐसे छोड़ दोगे इन ओपन एयर फॉर few days, you will soon recover some cottony patches over it. Green white cotton के patches पे develop हो जाती हैं. So that actually cotton patches are nothing else but that is the development of a fungus which is known as rhizopus. वो क्या है? वो rhizopus की उस पे growth हो जाती है. ओके, तो अब हम ये देखेंगे कि इसकी growth जो होती है वो कैसे होती है. आपने 7th क्लास में अगर आप रिकॉल करोगे, you have learned there that the fungal in the form of certain small structures. Fungus is dispersed in the environment, in the air, in the form of very small minute structures, and the minute structures are known as spores. Okay, so those minute structures को क्या कहते हैं ना? Spores. तो spore जो है वो छोटे-छोटे dot-like structures हैं. तो क्या होते हैं? छोटे डॉट-लाइक स्ट्रक्चर होते हैं, और ये डॉट-लाइक स्ट्रक्चर्स कहाँ प्रेजेंट होते हैं? ये एनवायरनमेंट में डिस्पर्स होते हैं. नाउ व्हेन दे गेट अ फेवरेबल कंडीशन, ओके, व्हेन द स्पोर्स गेट अ फेवरेबल कंडीशन मींस वार्म एंड मॉइस्ट एनवायरनमेंट. ओके, तो जब आपने ब्रेड को बाहर रखा तो उसको वार्म कंडीशन मिली और उसने ब्रेड में एनवायरनमेंट से मॉइस्चर एब्जॉर्ब कर लिया. सो व्हेन द फंगल स्पोर गेट warm and moist condition from the environment, it start developing. ठीक है, तो ये जो स्पोर है जब भी डेवलप करने लग जाता है, ये छोटे-छोटे स्मॉल सर्कुलर बॉडी, ये छोटी स्पोर्स है, when they start to develop, then they will form certain these thread-like structures. Okay, तो वो कुछ ऐसे thread-like structure को बनाने लग जाएगा, and these thread-like structure are known as mycelium. इन thread-like structure को क्या कहते हैं? mycelium. ओके, और जब एक स्पोर ग्रो करता है तो बहुत सारे थ्रेड-लाइक स्ट्रक्चर होते हैं जिसमें एंटैंगल हो जाते हैं, वो ब्रांच भी हो सकते हैं. ओके, सो दिस एंटैंगल्ड मास ऑफ थ्रेड-लाइक स्ट्रक्चर इज नोन एज द माइसीलियम. ओके, इसको क्या कहते हैं? माइसीलियम. अब ये जो माइसीलियम है, ये माइसीलियम क्या करता है? बेटा, इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट, बिकॉज़ वी हैव लेस टाइम, इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट प्लीज पोस्ट योर डाउट. So I finish this part in post your डाउट. ओके, so ये जो माइसीलियम है, ये माइसीलियम आगे ग्रो करता है and it forms certain this type of structure. Okay, so mycelium, when mycelium grows further, or when it develops further, then it forms certain upright structure. इस तरह के upright की structure बनाता है, and these upright structure, the top of these upright structure is slightly swollen. इनका जो ये ऊपर का जो ये structure है, ये कैसा होता है? ये फूल जाता है. Okay, why it is swollen? Because certain cells migrate, certain nuclei migrate into this space, and they do repeatedly mitotic division to fill the entire space. तो ये जो पूरी entire space है, इसकी fruiting body बोलते हैं, जिसको branchium कहते हैं, और यहाँ इसको आप इसका reproductive structure भी बोल सकते हो, जिसमें कि नए spores develop होते हैं. And this the lower one, the branch-like structure, which you can the thread-like structure that you can see here is known as hypha, which absorbs nutrition from the substratum. ठीक है, substratum से nutrition absorb करने के लिए hypha है, और ये knob-like structure क्या है, sporangium. Let us see what happens in sporangium. तो स्पोरेंजियम कुछ इस तरह का स्ट्रक्चर होगा। ओके, अब इस स्पोरेंजियम में क्या होता है कि जो फंगल के न्यूक्लियस है, एक न्यूक्लियस जो है वो दो में डिवाइड करता है, फिर और बनते हैं, इस तरह से मल्टीपल डिविजन होते हैं। ओके, मल्टीपल डिविजन होते हैं, मेनी स्पोर्स आर फॉर्म्ड विद इन द प्रोटेक्टिव वॉल। ये प्रोटेक्टिव वॉल होती है स्पोरेंजियम की, एंड जब तक एक अनफेवरेबल कंडीशन रहती है, ये स्पोरेंजियम ब्रेक नहीं होता, लेकिन जैसे प्रेशर अंदर का बढ़ जाता है, बहुत सारे स्पोर्स अंदर डेवलप हो रहे हैं, व्हेन द प्रेशर इंक्रीजेस द स्पोरेंजियम ब्रेक्स एंड स्पोर्स आर रिलीज्ड इन द एनवायरनमेंट टू कॉज द न्यू इन्फेक्शन। तो इस तरह से हमने देखा कि हाउ स्पोर फॉर्मेशन टेक्स प्लेस इन राइजोपस। स्टूडेंट, इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट प्लीज पोस्ट इट हियर। Okay, so till you post your doubt, just a recap. Today we have learned about the different methods of asexual reproduction. The first one was binary fission. The first one was fission. Fission can be binary and multiple. The second one was spirogyra. Fragmentation in spirogyra. Then the third one is regeneration in planaria, and the fourth one is budding in hydra, and the fifth one was spore formation in rhizome. तो स्टूडेंट आप इनको याद करो, आप इनके डायग्राम्स को बनाओ और बुक में जैसा है एज इट इज आप उसको याद करो, लर्न करने की कोशिश करो, डायग्राम को बना के उसको याद करने की कोशिश करो। एंड फ्रॉम दिस होल टॉपिक द मेथड ऑफ रीजनरेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, क्योंकि ये अक्सर एग्जाम में पूछा जाता है कि डिस्कस हाउ रीजनरेशन इज द मेथड ऑफ asexual reproduction and how it takes place. So students, still you have not posted any doubt. I have given time to you. So till we'll do the next part of this lesson. We'll continue this part of the lesson, and in the next part we'll discuss about the vegetative methods of propagation in plant. Till then, have a nice day.